Mrs. Tadley, may I have a motion to reconvene the public portion of tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Iacone. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. We're now back in public session. We're going to head down to Section 4, Routine Business. Board Secretary's Report for February 2026. Receipts and Appropriation Adjustments for February 2026. Treasurer's Report for February 2026. Monthly Transfer Report for February 2026. The High School Activities Report for March 2026. The Food Service Management Cost Performance Statement for March 2026. The Certified Bill List. The approval of minutes, which includes the March 17th regular meeting, the March 17th executive session, and the March 24th regular meeting. Mr. Bromhall, may I have a motion to approve routine business section 4A through H?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Falconero. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mrs. Tadley?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved. Section 5, routine matters. We have the enrollment report for April 10th, 2026, health report for March 2026, the fire alarm report for March 2026, the crisis drill report for March 2026, and tonight's superintendent's monthly report. Mr. Capello.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Thank you, members of the public who are here with us, and also thank you to those of you at home watching along on the live stream. While the district was closed last week for spring break, the world celebrated Assistant Principals Appreciation Week, and on behalf of the district and the Board of Education, I wanted to recognize our very hardworking assistant principals, Mrs. Oliver, Mrs. App, Ms. Nelson, Mr. Miley, Mrs. Calfazadi, and Mr. Wilkinson. Thank you so much for the job you do for our students that is often underappreciated but sincerely valued by all of us. Also, I want to offer special congratulations to Mrs. Sherry Spear. She is our Director of Early Childhood Education, and she was recently recognized by the Burlington County Principals and Supervisors Association as the Visionary Leader Director for Burlington County, so congratulations, Mrs. Spear. And before we meet next week, speaking of Mrs. Spear, May 4th through 8th is Teacher Appreciation Week, and we do an awful lot here to recognize our fantastic teachers, and we're looking forward to many teacher appreciation events, and thank you to CHASA and members of the public and our local businesses who help to support these efforts and show our teachers how much that they are appreciated and valued. The following students are the 5th grade Battle of the Books winners from this year. The team will travel to East Hampton Community School on Friday, April 17th for the Burlington County Battle, so we wish them a lot of luck. To Hunter Ansert, Grace Bivens, Sophia Hitchcock, Elizabeth McCoy, and Emma McHugh. At the New Albany School, students and staff participated in the Principal's March Challenge, with students earning pirate coins and classes earning points for demonstrating safe, respectful, and responsible behavior. All throughout the month, students earned coins for their classes independently and for their grade levels during lunch, recess, specials, and throughout the day. Winning staff and students received various prizes ranging from lunch with the administration and a friend, pajamas and denim days, extra recess, and an afternoon movie celebration. Congratulations to all the winners and those efforts to promote a positive climate in the New Albany School. Quick update for the public on our referendum. The next step that we are anticipating is a presentation before the Cinnaminson Township Planning Board to present the building improvements as well as proposed plans to improve parking and the recreational space attached to this project. We're excited to share our vision for the next major milestone in addressing the needs of the district before the local planning board. I'd also like to invite everyone here and members of the public to come out to our public hearing on the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. That public hearing is going to take place on April 28th right here at 6:00 p.m. and will also be available on our live stream. So with that, Mr. Kenny, that is the superintendent's report.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Iacone, may I have a motion to approve Section 5 routine matters A through E?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Don't think we can do that.
Second.
Good effort.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bromhall. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. McGuff?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved. Section 6, student representative reports. Ms. Carly Trompe.
Sorry. All right, good evening. The Golden Apple Award winner for the month of April is Patricia Kahn, who was nominated by Ryan Wick. The students of the month for March are as follows: Class of 2026, Grace Morris; Class of 2027, Lily Diana; Class of 2028, Grayson Kearney; and Class of 2029, Dennis Morgan. An update on the spring sports: the baseball team's current record is 5-1, and the team's captains are Matt Dever, Anthony Mulcahy, and Jacob DeJoseph. The softball team's current record is 2-4 on the season. They competed in the RV tournament on April 10th and 11th, and the team's current captains are Mara Del Grippo, Delaney Kroll, Haley Hunter, and Michaela Sheeker. The girls' lacrosse team record is 2-2. The team's captains are Dylan Horner, Maddie Donaldson, Grace Sherlock, and Olivia Lormer. The boys' lacrosse current record is 2-2. The team's captains are Ryan Eckert and Christian Minetti. The girls' track and field team captains are Jenna Kirstein, Shiloh Moore, and Sephora Sennett. The girls' track team has a lot of new faces this year, along with a great group of returners that are ready to get the season underway. The team competed against multiple schools at the Morristown Invitational on April 11th. The boys' track and field team, as the defending divisional champs, is looking forward to an opportunity to defend their title. The team has competed at the Delsea Field Meet, Cherokee 3200, and the Morristown Invitational so far this season. The boys' tennis team's current record is 5-0. The team's captains are James Kohler and Davi Mello. The golf team has its most members ever, with 16 boys and 5 girls on the team. The team captains are Tyler Harris, Matson Zimmerman, Emily Runoff, and Maddie Gibson. The team's current record is 3-1. The boys' volleyball team's current record is 5-2, and the captains are Chris Leitz and Russell Patchell. The indoor drumline and color guard held their second annual home show on Saturday, March 21st. 26 performing units visited CHS, and it was a wonderful experience. They participated in the Little League Baseball Parade at Cinnaminson Memorial Park on Saturday, March 28th, and their competitive season continues this Saturday, April 11th at Lake Riviera Middle School in Brick, New Jersey. At the midway point of the season, the drumline is currently ranked 3rd in the Scholastic Regional A Division. The junior class is hosting this year's junior-senior prom with a theme of a Gatsby Gala. The prom will be held on Friday, May 15th at the DoubleTree in Cherry Hill from 6 to 10 p.m. The price of the ticket is $115 per person. And lastly, the National Honor Society members hold tutoring sessions every Tuesday in room B121 from 2:15 to 2:45 p.m. Students are able to get any academic help they need there. Thank you.
Thanks, Carly. And our middle school representative, Mr. Matthew Kenny.
Good evening to all of you. The marches of the months for October are Rocco, Sermonara, Lavinia Ramos, and Jace Curry. Congratulations. Spring has finally sprung and sports are in full swing. Both of our boys' baseball teams have shown success on the diamond. The A team is currently 3-1 with a game today at home versus Lumberton and away at Willingboro on Thursday. The team's final home game is scheduled for May 7th versus Bordentown, where all of the 8th graders will be recognized. The final game of the season is Monday, May 11th at Delran, and the B team is currently 1-2 with the upcoming game tomorrow versus East Hampton. The girls' A lacrosse team is currently 3-1 and has a game today against Medford Memorial. The B team is young and getting better each day. For the first time in 4 years, the Cinnaminson Middle School track team will be sending a relay team to the University of Pennsylvania. The CMS Drama Club has had a successful drama show. Congratulations to the entire cast. April is Autism Acceptance Month, and this year's theme in New Jersey is Celebrate Differences. To kick off the month, CMS staff were encouraged to wear bright, multicolored clothing on Thursday, April 2nd. Some important dates coming up. April 15th, College for a Day Trip. April 23rd, Take Your Child to Work Day. May 15th, Single Session Fitness Frenzy. And May 18th, Cinnaminson School Night Out at the Phillies. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great night.
Good job, buddy. Thanks. Now we have number 7, presentations. We're going to start with our Student Safety Data Systems Report. Mr. Capello?
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. So this is a biannual report for us. It's my job this evening to report out on report period 1 for the Student Safety Data System report for the New Jersey Department of Education. As a part of this report, and I made some talking points because I sometimes jump right into the data, but I think it's important for us to understand a little bit about the data system. So the purpose of the data collection is to report to the Board of Education and to the public on various incidents to provide a comprehensive view of the school safety and the climate within the district. The kinds of things that are reported as a part of the SSDS system, incidents of violence, so this is anything ranging from assaults, fights, and threats, and unfortunately they do happen in our schools and others, incidents of vandalism, substance use, weapons offenses, HIB events, restraints and seclusions, and other incidents that may lead to a student removal. So these are things like suspensions and expulsions that may not be tied to those other offenses. And we also report as a part of this, our HIB training to the programs that we do. These are the kinds of preventative measures that we take to try to avoid some of these incidents, particularly incidents of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. So as a part of our annual report, report period 1 represents the period of July through the end of December. So we report this to the New Jersey Department of Education by mid-January, and then within the next few months we report it out publicly at a board meeting, and making sure that we do this twice a year as a part of the New Jersey CUSAC process. So we try to summarize our data, and then we do a couple of different snapshot views. We try to juxtapose where we are at today versus where we were at this reporting period last year, and also to a lesser degree look at report period 1 versus the previous report period, which would have been the 24-25 school year report period 2. And the feedback we've got from the community is it's helpful to be able to see, sort of our areas of concentration with where we may have upticks or downticks, if that's a word. So you can kind of see here, I know it's really a little challenging to see on the big screen. Hopefully it's coming through at home, and this is available on the district's on the district's agenda for this evening. You can see anything that is indicated in red is representing an increase over the report period this time last year. So we can see right there at the high school, the first few items across horizontally do represent an uptick. And I'm going to do a little bit of scrolling just to show that, so we are looking at 2025-2026 report period 1, and then that's this period last year. So overall incidents went from 7 to 15, and then as we go down the list at the middle school, overall incidents went from 20, 30, and then a rush, as you can see, as we move downward. So where we're seeing those green incidents, we're able to represent positive trend, and where we see the red, we're seeing the opposites. One of the other things I thought would be valuable for the board to be able to see is a little bit more of a longitudinal look to see if we can derive any trends in where we are at in the climate and culture of our schools. Now, we all remember in 2020, if you actually look at the 2020 year, there's like nothing, right? So that was the year representing when we, for the most part, were home. So these incidents sort of disappeared from our school. And then when we came back in that next year, and I think we have a lot of folks who were either on the board or educators or had kids during that time, it was kind of a tumultuous time returning to school. And across the state, we saw some historically high numbers in some areas that traditionally we had not seen before. And I know this board, like many others, put some measures into place to increase some preventative measure programs, to increase our number of counselors and our access for students to programs. So you could see some general trends. We were kind of on an upward trajectory here. We hit the total, and this is total incidents. And then we hit that 2021 school year where essentially it falls off the cliff. Then we come back kind of higher, and then we've overall, over time, have trended slightly downward, at least in total incidents. Now, as we pull this, the next step up, so we delineate for incidents of violence, which again, any one incidence of violence is too many in our schools, and we certainly take those very seriously. And as I've stood up at this podium in the past, I often remind the board and the public, if an incident happens in our schools, we report it. We report it to the state. We don't sweep it under the carpet, and we own our data, and we use our data to try to inform the programming that we do administratively. So again, that 21-22 school year, everything across the state and in Cinnaminson kind of hit the high water mark, and we're looking to derive some trends that trend down lower in most of our areas that are reported since then. For things like vandalism, which traditionally is very low reported across the board, right, one incident or two, if you take the outliers out, it's really hard to derive any trends when, if there's a second incident of vandalism, it's literally twice as much, which I think really speaks to the character of our students in the district, that our students take our property very personally and very seriously, and we overall, knock on wood, are very proud of the fact that our students are very respectful of our schools, and our incidents of vandalism historically and today have been traditionally low. And An area where we have seen more incidents recently than in the past, and again, we own our data, is in the area of substances, and I think that there are a couple things probably at play here. As members of the board know, members of the public know where we are at in society, in the state, in terms of access to things that were previously classified as CDS are more accessible in our communities. I had a previous superintendent of mine tell me if there are drugs in the community, there are drugs in the school. I take that notion very seriously, but one of the things that we are noticing is that as there is more access to things that were previously much more difficult to obtain in the community, we have seen an uptake in some of those substances in our schools. And again, any instance of substance abuse or substances in our schools is too many. I'm very proud of the programs we have to triage and provide help and support to our students and to our families who may be experiencing any of these incidents. But it is interesting to see statewide that our trends are mirrored throughout the state. Moving right along, trending in weapons, again, this is an area where we're very proud that these numbers are exceptionally low. Any one incident of a student bringing a weapon to school is too many, but here is another incident where if there was one student versus two, the numbers would go up dramatically and double. So hard to really derive any trends there other than just be able to report back to the board. We are happy in this report period to see zeros across the board there. And then moving along, so we have two different HIB categories. Again, this is harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Number of HIBs that were alleged, and then the number of HIBs that were confirmed. This is a pretty serious process. All of the HIBs are reported to the board on a monthly basis. I don't know that we're able to derive any specific trend numbers other than to, again, report to the board. Year over year, our growth has been pretty flat, but we do have more programming today than we had this time in 2017, 2018, to try to address some of the HIB programs, and also the amount of access to counseling to try to do some preventative programs for our students is higher today than it was in the past. One of the things that also sort of throws off the numbers is over the years, as the SSDS report has matured, right? Previously, before it was SSDS, it was the EVVRS report, and we were reporting on different things. Well, over the years, as newer things, and I hate to keep using the word things, are required to be reported out, and we're taking what were previous incidents from one silo and possibly reclassifying them into other silos. So I say that to predicate the graphics and the charts here, and I know it's difficult to see, so I'll try to zoom in just a little bit. So if you see, it looks like in 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, these other incidents leading to removals, right, our suspensions and our expulsions were so much higher than maybe they are today. And I'd love to, celebrate that, that we have less of these incidents that lead to removal. But I do have to also acknowledge that over the course of the maturity of this report, where we're classifying certain events, may be in one of those other silos. It looks like there was an uptick maybe in violence, whereas previously it was just maybe classified as something that was an other incident leading to removal. So my point in saying there is it looks like we have a dramatic trend down, but in actuality, a small portion of that is also items that have been reclassified. So while we want to celebrate this, we also acknowledge that part of the reason why some of the numbers may be higher in other categories is because of the way things get reclassified year over year. That's why traditionally we just look at this report period this year versus the report period this time last year, because they are the two that are most closely connected. But I thought this year it might be helpful for the board to see how we are trending. So with that, again, this report here is available to the board and it's available to the public as well on the agenda for this evening. And with that, any board members with questions about our SSDS? Fantastic. Thank you. With that, Mr. Kenny, I will yield my time to our next presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. And our next presentation is our excellent math department, Ms. Arbalez, Mrs. Hughes, Ms. Curran, and Mr. Jenkins. You guys are up.
Just going to sit back down now.
Or Dr. Goldburn.
It's my privilege to introduce our dynamic math folks who are here, ready to share all the things that are exciting and hot in math. We're going to hear from our Director of Math Instruction, Ms. Nicole Arbalez, and the three aforementioned staff members, Ms. Hughes, Mrs. Curran, and Mr. Jenkins, who have a dynamic presentation about what's been going on in the department this year. So, Ms. Arbalez, you're up.
did work. Careful of the wire. Thank you, Dr. Goldberg, for the introduction. As he mentioned, multiple people. My name is Nicole Arbeles, and I am the Director of Mathematics. I am really excited to be here tonight to talk to you all about mathematics. My students and my colleagues would tell you that there is nothing I like to talk about more, because success in math is the foundation to opportunity. It teaches our students how to think, how to problem solve, and it gives them access to future pathways. Tonight, you will hear how we're building our foundation through professional learning, data-driven instruction, and the strategic use of technology. To bring this work to life, you will hear from 3 exceptional educators who are doing this work every single day in their classrooms. At this time, I'd like to introduce again Mrs. Samantha Hoos. She is a first grade teacher at New Albany School, a co-grade level chair, and one of our softball coaches. Sam is going to share with you how we are using professional learning and translating it to classroom practice.
Good evening. At New Albany, we have been working as a team diligently, as a team diligently to understand what mathematics should look like across all classrooms. As you can see up here, we were provided a professional development by Dr. Milo, who is a prominent math professor as well as author. He provided us with tools that we were able to keep in our ever-growing toolkit, which enhanced our center-based learning. Not only did he provide us tools, but his presentation was extremely engaging for all staff. Through center-based learning, our students are provided manipulatives, which gives them a hands-on approach to learning. This hands-on approach to learning fosters creativity as well as active engagement. Within those centers, students are given a piece of independence as well. They're able to work at their own pace, and they're also able to be provided instruction at their own academic level, which for these young minds is crucial at this time. I'd like you to take a moment right now. There's an amazing video up there, unfortunately without sound, but our students thrive off of small group instruction. They want to be the best mathematicians they can be. As you can see, these are genuine smiles. They are actively engaged. They're active participants. And we're often told that the students go home and they recreate these center-based learning activities with their families, which we believe just speaks volumes on our center-based approach at New Albany.
Thank you so much, Sam. We are, in addition to professional learning, we are using data to drive our instruction. Data from our assessments, such as the NJSLA and Linkit, is used to identify gaps in instruction, adjust our pacing, as well as provide targeted support. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Laura Curran. She is a middle school mathematics teacher, a girls lacrosse coach, and Cinnaminson alumni, who will explain how we're using that data every day in our classroom and important instructional shifts we're making across the district.
Thank you. At the core of our instructional technique is really just trying to understand where a student is in their learning. And the way that we do that is through consistent analyzing of our data, through in-class assessments as well as state-based assessments, like the NJSLA and Lincoln benchmarks. We're not looking at this data in isolation, but rather as tools to identify strengths, weaknesses, learning gaps, and then adjust our instruction. One way that we use this data to drive our instruction is in our second session of math. In this session, students are purposefully grouped by their individual needs. So some groups could be working on remediation techniques where we are trying to build that foundational support to bridge those learning gaps and to also build confidence. Other groups could be using reteaching methods, reinforcing the skill through guided practice. We're also identifying those advanced learners, and we are making sure that we're challenging them as well. We're giving them above-level tasks, higher-order thinking problems, and opportunities for collaborative and cooperative thinking problems as well. These groups are dynamic. They change daily, weekly, often with the needs of the student, but also as the lessons and the skills are changing daily and weekly. Another way that we're doing this is through a model called Building Thinking Classrooms, which you can see in these pictures. These groups are a little bit different. They are random, and they're usually in groups of 3. These students are working together on a vertical whiteboard around the room. So the teachers in real time can see very quickly, are the students understanding the skill? How are they communicating with each other? Does instruction need to be adjusted based on what they're doing, how they're talking to each other? And then also the students can glance around the room. They can learn from their peers. They can see a way another student is tackling a tough problem. So it's a really effective method for teachers to see what their students are doing and then adjust instruction as needed. We think that both of these approaches, by analyzing data, by forming these small groups, by creating these opportunities for critical thinking and collaborative working within the students in the second session, as well as the first session of math, we're really able to build that academic growth, but also foster critical thinking skills that for our students will just extend well beyond the classroom. We want to make sure that we're creating an environment where students feel supported, but also challenged. And with these 2 approaches, we think that we're doing a really great job in all of our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I often wish for a second session math that I never got. In addition to data-driven instruction, we're being really strategic about our use of technology. When I stood before this board in September, I said that we would be narrowing down our use of calculators, and we have done that. We have strategically aligned calculator use with very specific standards in order to foster better number sense in our students' grades 6 through 12. Additionally, we have implemented AI and other digital programs in order to support and enhance our students' learning. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Brett Jenkins, Algebra 2 coach, I skipped one, Algebra 2 teacher, championship basketball coach, and our golf coach, to talk about what this looks like in our classroom. Here you go, Coach.
Teachers can be called coach as well. But we're using technology to help us better understand what the students are thinking rather than just giving the answer. We're using some programs. One would be Alex at the high school. And why we really like that is that program caters individually to each student. So they'll take a foundational test at the beginning and then leads them to problems at what we call their path. And while they're using and being on their path, they are then hopefully closing the gap. And we can see what they're doing, looking at the work, and get a better understanding of where their knowledge is, again, rather than just giving the answers for. We also have some other great programs, Snorkel and Goblin, that Dr. Milo presented to us at the PD. And why the program Snorkel is so powerful is we actually get to see what the students are thinking, rather than, again, just giving the answer. If you look there. So not only do they have to give the work there, but they also have to speak into the program. And it gives immediate feedback, and that allows us to see it. And for some students, they could speak in their native language if they weren't comfortable with their one. In fact, if you look there, it's Portuguese, and the software picks up what their native language is and is able to give them that immediate feedback, and for us to be able to see it. On top of that, they're also not just giving them the answer. If the students say they're unsure, which is something they can do, or they give a wrong answer, it's guiding them, helping them get to the right answer, rather than just saying, sorry, that's incorrect, the answer was 12. It is guiding them and telling them, hey, I think we should do this at the next step. They even, if the program Goblin, they can have the teacher as their little avatar, in their own voice. During the presentation from Dr. Milo, we all got to make our avatars, which was a very enjoyable 15 minutes of the PD. If you walked in, you would think it was a bunch of kids working at the computer. But then they can have that avatar coming back, and again, giving them that immediate feedback, and it also allows us to see the feedback. And why we like that so much is if a student can explain what they're doing, I think they really, truly then can understand it. And math is so important to understand one topic before you can move on to the next. Well, if they can explain to us what they're doing, then we feel extremely confident as we move on to the next topic that they have that proper foundation to then understand that next topic, and so on and so forth.
Thank you, Brett. In addition to what we're doing in the classroom, we are providing opportunities for our students to experience math outside of the classroom and across grade levels. One example of this is Math and Literacy Night at Rush School. Our high school students ran stations alongside our Rush teachers, while our middle school students helped the parents and families navigate through the building. It was a really nice experience for our middle school and high school students to step up and take a leadership role, but then for all of our students to experience math in a different way. At our middle school, I affectionately am calling this the most memorable day in middle school mathematics, is our Math Globe Party. It's carefully curated and created by Miss Laura Curran and Mrs. Every Clayton. Our students get to rotate through stations that have games and puzzles and review activities in a fun and neon environment. This year was my first Math Globe Party, and to say that the students were excited was an understatement. They were literally like running me down and coming in, and then there was that audible growl when the bell rang at the end of the class. I shared this experience with the high school Algebra 1 teachers, and they're looking to recreate this model next year. And finally, just before spring break was our Math Carnival. This particular event is extra special to me. It is something I started as a teacher. And I'm very grateful to Mrs. Fratto and her students for carrying it on. It is a truly student-centered event. Our students at the high school created and facilitated over 35 different math stations for all of our students at Rush to enjoy and learn. So what you've heard here tonight is the foundation of our math program. It is our goal that all students are critical thinkers, that they are the problem solvers of tomorrow, and that they have access to any pathway that they choose. I'm incredibly proud of the work that they are doing, and I am hopeful for what's next. I would like to thank Ms. Curran, Ms. Hughes, and Mr. Jenkins for taking time out of their schedule to present this work. I'd also like to thank my colleagues and the board for your continued support of the mathematics program. At this time, I would be happy to answer any questions that the board may have. Go math.
Disconnect. And so thanks again. Great job by the folks. Appreciate their time coming out tonight. A few months ago, we heard from our science team, math this evening. Next month, in addition to recognizing our Teachers of the Year and Board of Education Achievement Award honorees, we're going to hear from our social studies supervisor, Mr. Becker, and some social studies teachers about New Jersey's Revolutionary Schools Initiative, which is commemorating the 250th anniversary of our nation. So one more presentation from the curriculum department this year.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Good job, everyone. Thank you.
All right, Section 8, we have correspondence to the board. Do any board members have anything they need to share? I know we received a few emails that have been handled appropriately. If there's anything else? Good. Okay. Section 9, committee reports. We have no committee reports to speak of, except one thing in B. I'm on Section 9B, that the board approves John Meeker as the 2026 NJSBA delegate and Ed Kenny as the 2026 NJSBA alternate delegate. Mr. McGuff, may I have a motion to approve Section 9, committee reports, letter B?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Iacone. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mrs. Tadley?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Section 10, public comment on agenda items. Members of the public are reminded that comments should be limited to items appearing on this meeting's agenda. There will be another opportunity during the meeting to comment on non-agenda items. All members of the public wishing to speak on agenda items only should raise their hand to indicate they wish to speak. When called upon, participants should state their first and last name and address clearly for the record. In accordance with the Cinnaminson Board of Education policy, comments will be limited to a maximum of 4 minutes per person, and the comment period will be limited to 30 minutes in duration. Would anybody like to speak on anything on the agenda? Come on up, sir.
Mike Goins, 100 Purnell Avenue. My comments have to do with the Section 4H approval of the March 17th meetings. As part of the meeting was a presentation on the school bond, and on slide 29, it shows the double asterisk that Cinnaminson Township is contributing $1.5 million towards the cost there. On Monday, I went to the Township Committee meeting, asked the question of the committee, the administrator, and CFO if they were putting in their budget for 2026, 2027, the 1.5, or if they already had that set aside. The answer came back, no, there is no plan to put that in the budget for 2026, 2027. So that was confirmed by the administrator, CFO, and members of committee. They did confirm there was conversations between Cinnaminson Township and Cinnaminson Schools on the subject, and they did inform me they had told the schools that they did not have it in their budget. So I think that slide and any other material should be updated since it's not funded and it's a real cost factor of 1.5 that is not being funded by the township.
Thank you, I appreciate that feedback.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other members of the public? Okay. We are on Section 11, Personnel, Certified and Non-Certified. Mr. Capello.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Under Section 11A, Appointments and Reappointments, seeking the board to approve numbers 1 and 2 items A through C as listed in the agenda. Under Section 11B, Retirements and Resignations, there are 4 items listed in the agenda for the board's approval. Under letter C, Leaves of Absence, there are 4 items for the board's consideration and approval this evening. Those employees are listed by employee number. No teaching overloads. Under letter D, under Extra Duty Appointments, seeking the board to approve items 1 through 6, and it is a rather extensive list. All of those names and their respective assignments are listed in detail in the agenda. No transfer items under letter F. Under letter G, also no items. I'm going to skip down to letter I, Student Teachers. There are 2 student teachers for the board's consideration and approval under numbers 1 and 2. Listed in the agenda. Under substitute teachers, letter J, seeking the board to approve the following substitutes listed in the agenda, items A through G under number 1. Under letter K, tutors, seeking the board to approve item 1, A through I, as listed in the agenda. And finally, under letter L, there is 1 job description. We are seeking the board to approve a revised job description as listed in the agenda. Mr. Kenny, those are personnel items.
Thank you. Ms. Falconero, may we have a motion to approve Section 11, Personnel A through L?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Icone. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. McGuff?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved. Okay, we're on Section 12, Curriculum and Instruction. Dr. Goldburn?
Thank you very much. Under 12, letter A, Professional Development, requesting approval of the monthly professional development requests. Under letter B, requesting approval of the monthly field trip requests. Down to letter E, requesting approval of the monthly HIB report. And under letter F, approval of the monthly suspension report, please. Those are the items this month.
Thank you. Ms. Tadley, may we have a motion to approve Section 12, Curriculum and Instruction, items A through F?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bromhall. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Ms. Tadley?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved. Thank you. Special Education, item 13, Ms. Llewellyn.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Under letter A, contracts, there are none. Under letter B, student placements, again, there are none. And under letter C, consultant agreement, seeking the board to approve the consultant agreement as requested by the district with Jamie Learhoff, Livingston Educational Center, to provide a learning evaluation at the rate listed in the agenda this evening. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Mr. Bromhall, may we have a motion to approve Section 13, Special Education Items C?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Falconero. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. McGuff?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved. Moving right along to Section 14, Policy, Mr. Capello.
Thank you again, Mr. Kenny. Under Section 14, Policy, Letter A, Policies and Regulations, seeking that the board approve on second reading and adoption the following policy revisions. Those policies are listed in the agenda and attached in the online version. And I did also want to note, even though it's sort of just policy adjacent at this point, Mr. Kenny, I forgot to put in the report that the Board Policy Committee is meeting next week, so there will be an additional group of policies the following board meeting. So I got a little off topic there, but again, seeking to approve item number 1 and the policies that are listed in the agenda.
Excellent, thank you. Ms. Iacone, may we have a motion to approve Section 14, Letter A, Policy and Regulations?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Falconero. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mrs. Tadley?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved. Section 15, Business and Finance. Mrs. Wilkie?
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Under Section A, Grants, there are no items tonight. Under Section B, Finance, item number 1, that the board approves the staff mileage reimbursements as linked in the agenda, and item number 2, Donations, that the board accepts with appreciation the donation of $250 from Cinnaminson High School Home and School Association to the New Albany School, and that the board accepts with appreciation the donation of $2,000 from Narrative Media to Cinnaminson Township Public School District. There is nothing under Section C, Operations, this evening, and under Section D, Contracts. Item number 1, that the board approves a professional services contract nursing agreement with Beata Home Healthcare, and item number 2, that the board approves the renewal addendum with Sodexo Management for the 26-27 school year. Thank you, Mr. Kenny.
Thank you, Ms. Wilkie. Ms. Falconero, may we have a motion to approve Business and Finance?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Ms. Iacone, thank you very much. Are there comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Mr. McGuff?
Aye.
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 Sorry. Aye. Motion approved. Section 16, we have no other business. And now we're on Section 17, public comment on other matters. All members of the public wishing to speak should raise their hand to indicate their wish to speak. When called upon, participants should state their first and last name and address clearly for the record. In accordance with Cinnaminson Board of Education policy, comments will be limited to a maximum of 4 minutes per person. The total comment period will be limited to 30 minutes in duration. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, the board will not publicly discuss or comment matters involving personnel, litigation, negotiations, or attorney-client privilege. The board may choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, all comments will be given appropriate consideration. Matters requiring follow-up will be referred to the superintendent for resolution. Please be aware that all board employees retain the right of privacy and shall retain all rights against defamation and slander according to the laws of New Jersey, and the board shall not be held liable for comments made by members of the public. Would anybody like to speak on anything at all? Okay, thank you. Seeing none. We are not going into executive session. Comments from the board? Comments from the board. Ms. Iacone?
Congratulations to Mrs. Spire on your well-deserved award. Thank you to Narrative Media and the Cinnaminson High School Home and School for the generous donations. Thank you to the math department for the presentation. Best wishes and good luck. As we wish to take a moment to remember Helen DePapalo, longtime substitute nurse in the Cinnaminson schools. She is missed. The next Board of Education meeting is our public hearing on the budget on Tuesday, April 28th at 6 p.m. here in the cafetorium. The next regular meeting of the board is Tuesday, May 12th at 7 p.m. right here in the cafetorium. More information can be found on our district website. Thank you and good night.
Good, 6 o'clock.
The public hearing is 6 o'clock. Yes.
All right, thank you, Ms. Iacone. Mr. McGuff, may we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Falconero. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, motion adjourned. Thank you.